Welcome into another episode of They've Got Now. I'm really excited to be joined today by someone who's been a staple in college basketball for a minute, but obviously took her talents back home this year. Be back in Maryland. It's Jakia Brown-Turner. Jakia, first and foremost, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. It's March, so I'm ready to play. I think our team's ready to play too.
No, most definitely. Obviously the most exciting, most crazy time of the year with respect to basketball and like all levels. You got state tournaments going on and in high school, college conferences about to hit. Like it's kind of nuts. But it's obviously your first time getting to go through the Big Ten tournament. So
hmm
obviously you have a lot of success and a lot of ability. You guys have done a ton when you were at NC State, but coming in and getting to have this opportunity in the Big Ten now. How do you kind of prep and get ready for conference tournament? Because it's like obviously it's the same, like you've been playing games all year, but it's like, I don't know, things are a little bit different, changes things. So like how do you kind of prepare yourself going into this?
Yeah, definitely just looking at it as it's a new season. Every team is 0-0, so just knowing that you have to survive in advance, and I think the mindset of just taking one game at a time is really like impactful for me and my team.
Definitely. And especially with like handling anticipation too, because I feel like at least for me when I was an athlete, that was my least favorite part of anything was like waiting,
hmm
because there's a certain point where like you can't just work the entire time. Like you have to wait for the game to happen. So how do you kind of handle that anticipation and like getting ready for a game and
Yeah.
just kind of trying to actually find a way to ease your mind a little bit going in?
Well, I think this tournament is going to be a little bit easier because our games are real early. I think here is 11:30. So just being able to wake up and get right to it is going. It's just the mindset that I've been having, and I think it's going to be good just being able to not have to wait that long, but to just wake up in the morning and be like, yes, let's get this game.
Yeah. So do you like afternoon games better than night games, or how does that kind of change things up
Yeah,
for
I
you?
mean, it really doesn't. It doesn't matter. But I just know that I'm always when we have a game, I'm just ready to play, and I just think about it all day. So just being able to just yeah, let's just play this game and let's get this dub. It's better for me.
No, most definitely. Well, obviously, first, I want to congratulate you, second team All Big Ten. Well deserved. It's been awesome to watch
Thank
you
you.
come on this year, especially in Big Ten play. Obviously, like you were doing stuff as soon as the year started, but it felt like you really hit your stride early in January. What did you feel
Mhm.
was kind of the biggest thing in finding that this year and getting, feeling like yourself on court?
Yeah, definitely. It may have took me a little while to get adjusted to the team and how the offense was going, but I think my teammates and my coaches constantly telling me that you're gonna get it. You're gonna be okay. Help me get things going, and then my teammates on the court just finding me in the right spots. It's really helped me get going a lot.
Yeah, and I mean, it feels like every other game you're setting a new career high, like obviously getting to finish out against Penn State with 32.
Yeah,
Getting to have that moment too on senior day, what was that like for
yeah,
you?
yeah. It was just very I won't ever forget that game. It's just special, especially being on senior day. So it's just a memory that I won't forever forget.
Most definitely. Is there like a favorite bucket you had from that game? Obviously, there's a lot with 32, but was there one that was like, okay, I'm feeling myself today?
I think it might have been my last three. And I just heard one of my teammates on the bench, they're like, Jakia, three more, three more. And honestly, I didn't know what they were saying, but I think it was three more points into 30. I guess until I had 30. And I just came off and just shot it. And I made it. I was like, oh, yeah, I'm feeling good today.
Yeah, no, I love
So,
that. Um, so obviously being able to be back home in Maryland this year,
yeah.
what was that like for you? Because I know like coming back home and getting to be by your family was really big for you. So what was that like
Mhm.
getting to experience that?
Yeah, it's been a great experience. I think it's probably one of the best decisions I've made in my life. Just being able to come back from my last year and just finish up at home, being able to see my family, see my friends, and them being able to come to games. So it's been really fun, and I'm just really grateful for it.
Definitely. Is there like a favorite moment you have from being to have family come to games?
It's senior night,
Yeah.
my last year, my parents they did travel down, my family traveled down, but just them being able to just travel, 30 minutes, and then everybody came on the court, just being able to walk me down, and just it was just special because I knew it was my last time, my final last time, being in college and having a senior home game. So
Definitely. No, I love that. How many people did you have out for it?
I think I had, I mean, I think like 7 or 8
Okay.
people
All right.
came to that game for me. So
Yeah, roll pretty deep. Okay. Um, but especially too, one of the things that I wanted to hit on, I think so often, especially with the transfer portal, people like have this idea that it's like, oh, well, people are leaving because, they're upset or they're not happy where they're at.
mhm,
And I think one of the things that stood out with you, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it's just felt like, I mean, you're still tight with everybody from NC State. Like I see you taking pictures with Genesis and Camille. Obviously, you
mhm,
guys are playing tomorrow, so it's gonna be,
yeah,
cameras are off then. But like you mentioned, in terms of just getting to be back home by family and getting to be close again, like I don't know, I feel like it's just like very apparent. Like a lot of this is so much more goes in the transfer portal than just playing or whatever. Like, so much
yeah.
more is like there's, getting to have those moments being back home by
Mhm.
family is really huge.
Yeah, I definitely, that was my first thing, like just going into the transfer portal was I want to go home. I want to get as close as I can, just to finish out my last year. And it worked out.
Yeah. So did you know it was going to be Maryland right away, or was that just kind of like it just
Yeah.
kind of all fell into place?
It was more of like I wanted to be Maryland so bad. Like it was more like I want Maryland. And so when like Coach B and some of the coaches reached out, I'm like, yes, like thank God. Because I really wanted to come here so bad and just play at home.
That's dope. Did you have like, I mean, did they recruit you pretty hard when you were coming up, or
Yeah. Yeah,
okay?
so they recruited me out, of high school, but it just happened that I went to NC State, which is a better opportunity there for me. So, but just being able to come back home and play for a great elite program, it's been awesome.
Definitely. Um, so looking back at this year too, have you kind of been able to like soak it in a little bit? Like you mentioned, it is your last year in college.
Um,
Obviously, I feel like with everybody for like, I mean, there's been a lot of people who've had senior days, but it's like, well, I have another senior day next year, so it's a little different.
yeah,
But what has it been
yeah,
like getting to like, have you gotten that opportunity to really think about everything you've gotten to do throughout your career?
yeah. I think after our senior day wasn't technically on our last home game, but our last home game against Wisconsin, it really soaked in. I was like, wow, like this is my last game at home for real. And I was just like, I didn't really like appreciate that moment until then. Like after the game, I'm like, wow, it's over.
Yeah.
But we still have. But the thing is, like, we still had 2 away games. We got Big Ten, NCAA tournament. So it's just like, okay, I got a little bit more that I can like dig in and just take everything with me.
Yeah, no, exactly. I mean, I feel like it's so hard to actually find that time because it's just like, all
Hmm.
right, well, yeah, we're done with this game, but we got to hit the road in,
Yeah.
16 hours and then we got more games after that. So it's like, kind of
Hmm.
nonstop a little bit. Um, and getting back into the swing of things in Maryland too, like obviously you were captain this year.
Hmm.
Getting to kind of get that experience, like coming in and being a new part of the team. Obviously, there were a lot of new faces on the team this year,
All
but
right.
like coming right into College Park, what has set Maryland apart for you? Like what has it been like in terms of just like culture wise or just in general, what it's been like to
Yeah.
be under Coach B?
Yeah, definitely just the family culture. Like when I came in, it just felt like even on my visit, it felt like a family. And it's just everyone's just supportive, like encouraging, a positive. Like even, we took a couple L's, which were lessons in our heads, you know what I'm saying? Like not looking at, oh, we lost, but just being able to learn from it and just having that positivity and encouragement from all my coaches and teammates. It's really helped me throughout the year. And I think that's like one of the reasons why like I've been able to, you know, do good here.
Definitely. Especially in terms of like thriving too. One of the things that's really fun about your game, like I was talking to somebody about this the other day, and they asked me like, what position I would consider you. I'm like, just a basketball player, like,
Yeah.
which is I think part of what has really helped you fit in at Maryland. But did you ever feel like it was kind of difficult to find your spot on court a little bit, in just in general? Because like I feel like you do
Mhm.
so many things well. So do you ever feel like, I mean, obviously you found your rhythm now, but like, was there ever kind of a time where it was like, all right, finding where you fit in was a little bit difficult?
Yeah, it definitely was a little hard, learning all the plays because we had to learn them in every spot. So it's like, wow, you don't just focus on like the guard spot, but just work, like focusing on learning the guard and the forward spot. So it was a little hard juggling both, but I think I've been able to, learn all the spots and then whatever positions Coach B wants me at, I've been able to just, find my way at.
Definitely. I feel like correct. Like again, if you feel otherwise, let me know. But I feel like this year, your drives, like driving to the rim, has been like one of the biggest growths for you in terms of the way that you can attack the basket. Have you kind of felt like that's kind of played out for you, or what do you feel has been your biggest growth this year?
Well, I just honestly overall, I feel like it's been a better year for me. I think I would definitely say my driving, but my rebounding has really increased. I
Yeah.
feel like I've been rebounding the ball a little bit better. So I think that's one of the biggest like aspects. I'm like, oh wow, like I can rebound.
What
Like
like what
I can score, but I can rebound too, like
yeah,
just adding more things to my game.
definitely. What goes into like I mean random, but like what goes into rebounding for you? Like what goes into feeling like you're better at it?
Just like wanting the ball more, I know that just being able to time it coming off the rim, but I really want that ball. So if I see someone like not boxing me out, I'm like, oh yeah, this green light. Like I'm gonna get this board, like nobody. So I don't know. I just want it. So that's kind of the mindset I have when I'm going for. I'm gonna get this ball.
Yeah, no, it's felt like it this year. That reminds me too. Did you watch The Last Dance when it came out on Netflix?
Hmm.
That reminds me of the clip with Dennis Rodman like talking about, how he would just like follow the ball coming off the rim. That shit was
Hmm.
crazy.
Yeah,
Um,
no, it was.
definitely. But yeah, moving from there too. Obviously, like we talked about, you came up in Maryland, played at Bishop McNamara, which is like just a state power. Do you keep up
Mhm.
with them at all? No, obviously
Oh
they have a
yeah,
new
yeah.
head coach now, but you
Oh
do?
yeah, definitely. Yeah, their new head coach. He was my AU coach.
Okay.
So
Oh, I didn't
yeah,
realize that.
I'm really close with Coach Ron, and before Coach Oliver. He's now at IMG. But yeah, I definitely tried. Like I went to a couple games this year. I also went to the WCAC championship. He lost, but I went.
Yeah. They're
So it
tough.
was just.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Dude, Zen Craft is gonna be a dog at the next level. I'm
Oh
very
yeah, yeah,
excited for her. She's
definitely.
so tough. But yeah, I mean, so when did you like, obviously you were a highly rated recruit, but like was there kind of like a first moment where you maybe first felt like, okay, I've like really I can make something happen with basketball.
Yeah, I think I don't really, I didn't really understand. I think now that I look back, I think back then I was just focused on just, playing. I never really realized like, oh shoot, kid, like you might actually be good at this until like I think it might have been like my junior. Well, yeah, it might be my junior year when I got invited to like the USA, and I was like, oh shoot, like you're good, because being getting invited to like the USA at that time was just like very big, and it just made me realize like, okay, I might have like opportunity to do something big, and then I think that summer, like, I just started getting more offers, and I was like, okay, like basketball is for me. So,
Yeah, that U17 team was stacked too, because that was what was that
it was
2019?
no, this was no, no, no. It
Oh wait,
was this might have been. I think it was my junior year. I'm trying to remember. I think it was my junior. I think it was my junior. Yeah,
hmm
it was that. But I did get cut. But when like just getting invited to that, like it was like okay, like you're a top player in the country type
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah, no, especially too, like obviously you played against a lot of people in Maryland, but like when you get to
Hmm.
go and like, all right, you're practicing with everybody else who's like, rated in like the top 50 of the
Hmm.
ESPN 100. It's like, okay, well, shoot, like I match up with these people. Like
Yeah.
I have similar skills. Like I can do this better than them. Like,
Right.
it shows you a lot for sure.
Hmm.
So like how do you kind of take that in though when you're a high schooler? Because that's, I think it's easy for people to like look and be like, oh, well, that's just a thing that happens. But like you're
Hmm.
saying, like that's a big deal. So how do you kind of take that without maybe getting like without like letting it get to your head too?
Oh yeah, my dad never he never let anything get to my head. I think that's what's helped me. That helped me keep me humble.
hmm
But I just know that like I've always worked hard, and I feel like anything that I do on like working out, trying my best every day will help me get me where I need to be. So just working hard every day, working out, like that's what I continue to do in college, and I mean in high school, and now in college, I'm doing the same thing. So I'm just focused on like just working hard and seeing where that gets me.
Definitely. With respect to working hard too, what does that look like for you? So like what is your day to day?
Hmm.
Like obviously everybody has some similarities. Like you're gonna practice,
Hmm.
you're gonna have school,
Yeah.
but like what's your like regular routine look like?
My regular routine is just, wake up, get breakfast, go to class, shoot before practice. Then we'll have like film practice and then recovery. So that's pretty much what it looks like every day.
Yeah. I feel like recovery is a big one for people, especially later on in
Yeah.
college, like getting a handle on that. When was the first time you realized like, oh shoot, okay, I like actually need to take recovery seriously?
Oh yeah. I noticed that my junior year of college, my knees started to hurt. I'm like, oh gosh, I'm getting old. But no, it's yeah. When you start feeling it, I started feeling it in my knees. I'm like, okay, I need to ice, I need to contrast, I need like do Normatec. So just
That's
like
yeah.
it's just a lot. Being a college athlete is allowing your body, so it's very important to take care of it.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people kind of underrate that. Like there's so much on the go. It's not
Hmm.
just like I was trying to explain that to
Yeah.
like my family members who don't understand NIL and stuff. I'm like, all right, well,
Hmm.
yes, they're student athletes, but also like there's a lot more that goes on than them just playing games. Like, dude, they're putting in 70, 80 hours a week just on their body to be
Right.
ready for games. It's not just about the games themselves. So there's a lot that goes into it. Um,
Yeah.
but I feel that so much with the rehab stuff because I'm only a little bit I'm 26 and
Hmm.
I injured my knee in high school and I was at first I was like, that's fine, whatever. I'll be fine.
Yeah.
And last couple of years it's like so today is like it's like 45 outside and like wet and rainy,
Hmm.
like that's typical Ohio weather, but that's like
Hmm.
your knee flares up and you're like, oh wow, okay, I feel it now. So it's exactly like, it's exactly what you're talking about. It's only gonna get worse. So
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
wait. Um,
Oh my God.
if you can buy a Normatec yourself, please invest because you're
Oh
gonna need it.
yeah.
But
I definitely will. I think I'm more of a game ready type. I think game ready is what I'm gonna buy.
yeah, that's hey, it's a good idea.
Hmm.
But going off that too, like you pretty much hit the ground running in college. Like you were able to make an impact right away,
Hmm.
and you've just been really productive throughout your career. Have you kind of been able to appreciate that? Because it's not everybody's story. Like everybody's not able to come in and find their groove immediately like that.
Yeah, I think just going through everything, like just winning championships, winning a lot of games, NCAA tournaments. I'm like going through. I'm like, yeah, we're good. Like this is a great moment. But now, like with this being my last year, I fully get to like really just see like everything and take everything in of what I've done over the years. So I think I'm really appreciating it now because I know like my college career is coming to an end.
Yeah, definitely. Have your parents like brought up anything in terms of like, like thinking about like, oh well, when you were doing AAU this time, like, comparing like
Hmm.
just like those kind of memories coming up?
Yeah, I think like my dad, he always brings up like memories that he had because sometimes I think my dad also misses like that type of AAU season in high school too. So he'll bring it up sometimes.
Yeah. No, high school AAU is just like, especially AAU, like
It's
I
so fun.
love, yeah.
It's so fun. It's so
Yeah.
fun. It's like you don't have to worry about anything. It's just play basketball.
Yeah. No, it's dope. I feel like so many people have like just a lot of misconceptions about AAU. And they're
Mhm.
like great. Like I mean, with anything, I think you can always like pull something negative from it. But like, I don't know.
Yeah.
There's nothing better for me than like going like I can just go watch 20 games in a day. Especially like I just
Yeah.
have Boo Williams circled on my calendar. Like I'm ready to go. I'm ready to watch. Like, come on.
Right. Yeah.
Um,
That's definitely one of my favorite tournaments too.
oh, it's such a great way to kick off the year too, right?
Right.
Except
Yeah.
the parking situation's terrible, like getting out of
Well,
there. The
I
worst
never
thing.
really had to deal with that because
Oh,
I'm on the
yeah.
van, but
Yeah, okay, well,
I do know.
lucky you, but it is awful getting in and out of there. Um, but in terms of just like looking at this year as a whole too, and where you guys are at heading into the year, you mentioned
Hmm.
at the beginning, like taking a lot of lumps. Like you guys are top 10 in the country in terms of strength of schedule, top to bottom by pretty much
Hmm.
every metric. And you guys definitely felt that early on in the year. So like obviously you very much grew from it, but how did you guys kind of take that stuff from early in the year and find ways to grow from it? Because a lot of teams might not have been able to find that.
Yeah, I think just taking it, like I said, our coaches are very like forward, thinkers, and they knew that these losses were going to help us in the future. Playing against top teams in the beginning was going to prepare us for this time in March, and I think we're showing that now. Like we never folded. Like we just got better and just kept working, and I feel like that's all those lessons that we had in the beginning are like going to come true now.
Definitely. And especially like the team has dealt with a lot of injuries this year. Like
Hmm.
I feel like it's rare to see a team like get banged up like this. Um,
Hmm.
how do you kind of go through that as a teammate? Because like obviously
Yeah,
it sucks in the moment. Like there's not a lot you can
yeah.
do about it. But in terms of kind of keeping like especially as a veteran on the team, like kind of
Hmm.
keeping those younger players uplifted when they're going through moments like that.
Yeah, definitely. Having that situation is very hard. Having three of my teammates getting injured, it's very difficult. But we've just been trying to play for them and just try to give it our all because we know that they can't play right now. So just keeping them in our minds while we play, like this is for them.
Definitely. Especially too, like Riley's gonna be so good moving forward. Like I'm so excited for
Hmm.
her.
Yeah,
And she seems great. Everything I've ever heard about her is awesome. So I'm excited to
yeah.
see her keep getting healthy and get back next year. Um, but looking at players who have grown this year, obviously Bree McDaniel ended up
Hmm.
getting rightfully getting her votes for most improved player in the conference. Um, what is something that people don't know about Bree that they should know about?
Bree. I mean, I'm gonna say what I know about Bree. Bree, she's gonna bring that energy. She's a dog. I mean, that's what she shows every day in practice on the court. Like she's not scared of nobody. She is scorer. She's gonna D you up on. She's gonna get up on you on defense. She's gonna bring that energy, and that's what I love about her. And I think that's she's a big piece for our team with that. Like she brings the energy, and we feed off of her.
Yeah, no, her energy is crazy. Like I feel like you
Hmm.
just don't see that kind
Yeah,
of stuff very
that's what I'm
often.
saying. Hmm.
Yeah. Is there like a thing in practice that she does that like is exemplary of like the kind of energy she brings?
I think just like picking you up like full court. Like that's something that I play defense, but just being able to pick somebody up full court every play, like that's just something like yeah, she like but it gets us all going though. Honestly, when she starts it, she's ahead of our defense, and if we get trash, we get steals. Just she builds that for us.
Yeah, no, she's huge with that. I want to ask too, like, did you know Shy at all before you came in? Because I know
I think
she's a
like
class,
yeah.
two classes below you technically, but
Hmm.
yeah,
So I wouldn't say I know. I knew of her just because I played Maryland. I played her. I think maybe a year or two years ago. I think I played her freshman year, so that's how I knew her.
definitely. Um,
Hmm.
I feel like she's definitely grown a ton this year too. Like new role for her being like the primary option and kind of figuring out stuff as a point guard. But
Hmm.
again, like even going through injury stuff, she's still been able to kind of figure out her way through
Yeah,
that. What has it been like to get to see her? Because I mean, when you talk about players who are like really versatile, you can mention
yeah.
everybody of Maryland, but when you look at her and her game, what has been really cool to see from her this year?
I think just being able to see her like just be a leader for us and just be able to set us up for our shots and just be able to get her shots as well. I think she's done better at like being a great point guard and because at first I don't think I think last year she was more of a like off the ball,
Mhm.
but her being on the ball this year has just it's helped us throughout the whole season, and I think we're definitely gonna we're gonna need her to continue to do what she's doing.
Yeah, no, most definitely. Um, looking again at your whole career, is there something that you're maybe most proud of from yourself? Looking back and thinking on everything you've been able to do over the last couple of years.
I think like I'm always gonna say just winning championships is the biggest thing I've ever like did in my whole life, and I that's something that I want to do here at Maryland as well. So I'm just hoping that we can get this done.
Definitely. Um, again, like looking at where you're at and where you guys are headed, what are you most excited for tomorrow? Obviously, I think game's 12:30 against Illinois,
Hmm.
12:30 EST, so you guys got an early one. But like, yeah, what are you most
Yeah,
excited for with that game and just
yeah,
kind of like tournament atmosphere in general?
yeah. I think I'm just excited to play. No matter who's in front of us, we're gonna play hard. I'm gonna play hard. Like we're gonna be ready to play.
Definitely. Um, I have to ask too, as a lefty, I feel like one of the things that's really fun about lefties is a lot of people just don't know how to guard lefties.
Yeah.
So you get a little bit of an advantage in that. Is there anything where you've ever felt like, you really can get your game off in certain ways just because of that?
The thing is, I've heard that a lot. I've heard a lot of people say like lefties have an advantage, and I think I don't know. I just know I like going left.
Yeah,
And I mean, I've noticed like a couple teams have tried to like force me right, but for some reason I always find a way back left.
yeah.
And yeah,
Sign of a good player, man. If people can't keep you from going somewhere, then you're doing something right. Um, But on top of that, too, with the Big Ten and the ACC, have you felt like a difference between the conferences? Like, is there anything you can
yeah.
point to that's like that's different, or that you've, now that you can kind of look back and say, like, all right, I played full
Hmm.
seasons throughout, what does that kind of look
Right.
like?
Yeah, I definitely think the Big Ten is more physical than ACC. I think that's like the biggest difference is it's physical. You're gonna bang down there. You're not gonna. It's nothing easy here. So just being able to just play strong is one of the biggest things I've learned, like playing throughout these games.
What was like the game this year that set that in stone for you that made you think like, damn, it wasn't like this last year?
I want to say it was definitely a away game, and I'm like, wow, like I can't remember what I think it might have been Michigan State. It just was real physical, and like the rest wasn't calling nothing. It was just like you got to be strong with that ball, like no matter what.
Yeah. No, definitely. And it's shown in your game this year too. I feel like you've been really good playing through contact. Um, but to close out too, when you're looking ahead to stuff like obviously, you guys aren't done. You want to do a lot more, but in terms of like as an individual and as a team, what things you really want to accomplish moving forward, both, in finishing out the last couple weeks and after that.
Yeah, I wanna win Big Ten, and I want to be in the NCAA tournament. I want to go as far as we can, Sweet 16, Elite Eight. I just want to, do whatever like we can, like I can, my team can, just to, get to those games. And I think just being able to have the mindset of just taking one game at a time and just giving it your all, because you never know what can happen. For me, this is my last year, so it's surviving advance for me. Like if we lose, like this is it. So it means a lot for me. Just going out there and giving them all.
Definitely. And I have to ask too, like, have you thought about playing pro or like what do you want to
Yeah,
do after college? Yeah.
yeah, definitely. Yeah, I definitely want to play in WNBA and overseas. So those are
Okay.
two goals. After season, I would do it. After, but right now I'm just really
Yeah, no,
focused
locked
on
in.
just these tournaments and stuff like that.
Definitely. Well, Jakia, I really appreciate your time. It was dope getting to know you a little bit. I'm excited to watch you guys tomorrow and see what happens and see what you guys can do in the
Yeah.
week.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. To everyone listening, thank you for listening. Have a great rest of your day.